Hi, I wanted to share with you a little bit about my miscarriage that I had earlier this year. You may recall that I found out I was pregnant earlier this year in March or April. That's when I think I found out in March. And it wasn't exactly what I had planned at the time. My husband and I actually were trying to get pregnant the summer before that, so that was 2 summers ago. And it didn't happen then, so we decided to just put it on hold. And then we ended up moving to a smaller house, and we decided, okay, let's just wait, a few years at least before we try to have another baby, because maybe by then we'd be in a bigger place. So anyway, so we were trying to not get pregnant, and I got pregnant, and it was a shock, definitely, and I was I was pretty depressed about it, to tell you the truth, and I'm not proud of that, but I was pretty down, and I just started back to work, and it's just not what I had planned, and so I didn't have insurance at the time, and so I had to go through that whole process of getting insurance set up, and then once it was approved, I had to find, a doctor that I could see and find out, should I see a doctor affiliated with this hospital or that hospital, and where the doctor's office is located, are they accepting new patients? It was just this big puzzle to put together. So finally, I was able to find a doctor and schedule an appointment for my first prenatal checkup at 3 months along. Isn't that great? So I had my first appointment on a Wednesday, and it's a new practice for me. I hadn't been there before. So we go through the whole process of, getting an exam and sitting down with a doctor, and he has to ask all these questions about my health, my, family's health history and all that, and details about my previous pregnancies. And so we went all through everything, and so like one of the last things was trying to hear the heartbeat with the Doppler machine, and he tried his darndest to get that heartbeat to come through on the Doppler, and we got nothing. And of course, it's not anything to worry about necessarily, because sometimes it's hard to hear a baby's heartbeat. They could be situated further back or just in a bad position, and you can't hear the heartbeat. And he said, don't worry about that. When you have your ultrasound well, at that time I didn't have it scheduled yet, but when I had the ultrasound, eventually, all that would be picked up. So they didn't have an ultrasound machine on site, or an ultrasound tech on site the whole time they were open, every day that they were open. So anyways, couldn't get the heartbeat with the Doppler, and he mentioned, and during the exam, the baby did feel like it was measuring smaller than 3 months, so maybe my dates were off in calculating how far along I thought I was, and that was very interesting, because I knew my calculations were not off. Maybe if it were a few days or so, then that could be understandable, but it was noticeably smaller than 3 months along. And then, not being able to hear the heartbeat with a Doppler at 3 months along, it's not likely. It's possible, but it's unlikely. And, I've been through that. I've been through this whole process 3 times before, and it just wasn't adding up to me. Like, I kind of felt, okay, there could be something wrong. I don't know exactly what it would be that was wrong, but, maybe the baby's not growing right, or there's something wrong with it. I don't know. I just felt that something wasn't right. Like, it wasn't going perfectly. So, I had an appointment for the ultrasound scheduled for the following Monday. This appointment I'm talking about was on a Wednesday, and so I had to wait till the next Monday to go to a different site to have the ultrasound, my first ultrasound. And I was kind of excited about it, because up until this point, like I mentioned, I'd been pretty down about the pregnancy and kind of depressed, and it's kind of still surreal to me at that time, and I don't know if I was in denial or what, but I thought, okay, well, when I get to this ultrasound, I see the ultrasound, I can see that there's a baby and this is actually happening. Maybe it'll all click and become real to me, and I can start to, look forward to it. So I grew more and more anxious coming towards that Monday. And, Sunday I shared with my life group at church how I was feeling, and just asked that they be praying for me so that I, just wouldn't be consumed with anxiety or worry before I even saw the ultrasound, because, everything could be fine. And I just didn't want to, jump the gun with my reaction. I didn't want to react before knowing one way or the other. So, Monday I went to have my ultrasound, and in the waiting room, I could feel that people were praying for me. And I was just really at peace at that moment, and I wasn't letting my thoughts be consumed by, oh, what if. So, I just I was reading the magazines, looking through all that, and just, trying to keep my mind on other things, and, I felt just at peace at that, while I was in the waiting room. And so they called me back, and I'm trying to still, keep my cool. And, so lady's doing the ultrasound, and, I didn't know if the sound was on or off. Of course I don't know why it would be off, but I couldn't really hear just anything, though. Not even just bodily fluid, regular noises that you might hear from an ultrasound. So I don't know, maybe it was off. But she was looking around, and really couldn't get a good visual on the baby. We did see a fuzzy spot that could be the baby. But definitely never heard a heartbeat. And so she also says, okay, well, she went ahead and took pictures and did measurements and stuff as best she could. And then she said, well, let me go ahead and show this information to the doctor, and then, she might ask to do a vaginal ultrasound just to get a better view of things. And thought, okay. And so she left, and she did not come back. It was the doctor who came through the door next, and I'm thinking, this isn't good. So she came over and said, Mrs. Clark, I'm sorry, but there's no heartbeat, and the baby's only measuring about 8 weeks along. And at that point, I still, kind of had it together. I was just thinking, yeah, okay, that's what I thought. And they were just confirming, what I thought. But she said, she does want the ultrasound tech to go ahead and do a vaginal ultrasound, because they need to see kind of how things are situated, so that I can, so we can know my options going forward. So the doctor left, the ultrasound tech came back in, and we did another ultrasound. Y'all, I saw my baby. For the first time. And it was dead. It wasn't moving. It wasn't, waving hi to me. It wasn't moving around at all. And when I saw the baby with that second ultrasound, because they're able to get up closer to the baby, it wasn't a blob. It wasn't a blob. It wasn't just a massive unformed tissue. There was just a head, his arms, their legs. It was a human. The reason I'm saying that is because afterwards I had gone online and Googled ways to announce a miscarriage, you know, tactfully on social media, and I came across these forums where people, I guess, had asked the question and gotten some not so nice answers from people. And this one lady, she was going on about how she didn't understand women who had miscarriages, you know, within the first several weeks of pregnancy, how we could, well, first of all, we were stupid for announcing a pregnancy that early. And I just want you to know that how proud I am of myself and my husband for waiting as long as we did to announce our pregnancy. Because usually it's like, you know, as soon as I find out I'm pregnant, I might wait a few days and then announce it. So we actually did wait till about 2 months along to announce it. So, I don't know, I was proud of myself for that. But this woman was saying, you know, okay, so you have a miscarriage, and I don't understand. She didn't understand why women would refer to those instances as, you know, they're an angel baby, because she was saying, you know, the reason you have a miscarriage, the reason the miscarriage happened is because it wasn't forming into an actual person like the way it should. It was just a mass of tissue that wasn't forming, and you know, your body thought it was pregnant, but then you know, it had to discard this tissue. And when I read that, I thought, oh my gosh, you know, yeah, maybe that is a reason for miscarriage, and maybe that does happen. But I thought, oh, she could see my ultrasound, y'all. It was not a mass of unformed tissue. It was a perfectly formed little baby. Just, you know, 8 or 9 weeks gestation. And it was, you could tell all of the little features were there. So we went through the process. I had the surgery. You know, after I found out that I had miscarried. And well, the reason I'm doing this today is because today is November 16th. And this is the day we would have had our baby. And so it's hard for me. I didn't think that I would, I don't know, feel this way. Because when the miscarriage happened, it was sad, but I wasn't like this at all. Because it's kind of like, I knew ahead of time something was wrong. Okay, yeah, something is wrong. I did miscarry. Okay, let's go through the process, and then it was done, and you know, whatever. And I just didn't get like this, like I am now. And in the weeks leading up to this day, I would I guess, I don't know, I would just be thinking about it and just start crying uncontrollably. And a lot of times it would be on my way to work. So I'd get to work and, you know, try to make my face look decent, and it's getting all puffy like it is right now. I'm crying. But y'all, I just wanted you to know that when the due date comes around, it's just as hard. Actually, it's more difficult for me anyways. And I know I'm not the first woman to go through this, and I won't be the last woman to go through this. But I just wanted to share my experience because, number one, I'm hoping that this will help me just to help me, go through all of this, process everything. And I'm not saying that after today I'll be done and over, and I went through the process of grieving and be over, because Thanksgiving's coming up and Christmas. I'll just be thinking, oh, there could have been another baby here. We could have had our child in our Christmas photo, but they're not with us. And I have friends who just recently had babies. I have another one who's waiting to go to the hospital at any moment now, and I'm genuinely very happy for them. And I don't think that I'm not mad at them or anything like that. Like their situation is wholly separate from mine. I can be sad about this, but it's not carrying over to their situation. For them, I feel nothing but happiness and joy, and I look forward to holding their baby and giving it kisses. And the Bible in Romans 12, is talking to Christian brothers and sisters, and it says, "Rejoice with those who are rejoicing, and mourn with those who are mourning." And I just hope that you guys can understand my pain and either empathize with me or just help encourage me. And then in the happy moments for my other friends when they're having their babies, I'll be happy and rejoice with them also. Well, thank you for watching, and I hope maybe this helps somebody out there. I don't know. I'm hoping that it'll help me go through all this, but just thank you for letting me explain what happened and how I felt through all this. And God is good all the time.